here with Lenny Eisenberg for predaily.com and the third in our series of videos. For this video, we would like to discuss school discipline as a prerequisite for education and whether or not it works. Lenny, could you address that? The way that I understand it, as regards LAUSD, there are already a set pattern of memorandums and bulletins which cover school discipline, safety, anti-bullying, anti-sex discrimination. Is this an effective means of establishing discipline? And if it is, then that's fine. If it isn't, why isn't it working?
Well, there are two reasons why it isn't working. One is simply they're not enforced. And I can give you a couple of examples. One is there are bulletins within LAUSD, their own policy they don't follow. And there are state bulletins, for example. Some people listening to this might be very surprised to find out that if a student is disruptive and is suspended from school, the school and the principal and the teacher have the right to require that the parents attend the school with the student to ensure that the student obeys while in school. This is virtually never done, and teachers who have this right are not encouraged to use it. Another reason why discipline is such a problem has really nothing directly to do with discipline itself, but rather has to do with the policy that LAUSD has of social promotion, where they take kids and move them grade after grade into higher grades without ever mastering previous grade level standards. So by the time these kids get to middle school, they are 5, 6, 7 years beyond the grade level that they're at. They have teachers from, secondary teachers from middle school and high school onward that are single subject credential teachers that have no ability to remediate these students' abilities. Add to this mix the fact that these students start going through puberty and are at young adolescents with very sensitive egos, and what you get is a formula designed for failure, where what the teacher is doing in a classroom, which is asking a student to do what they are objectively incapable of doing because they are so far behind. So the social promotion puts students and teachers in direct conflict because the student is incapable of doing the work and actually finds the work to be humiliating.
Well, but Lenny, let's assume a teacher recognizes the difference between the chronological age of the student and the curriculum that student is attempting to handle and failing miserably at. And that teacher attempts to, in consideration of the student's feelings, to make adjustments, to teach at a level that the student could start to acquire knowledge and remediate some of those losses. What happens to that teacher?
Well, that teacher is, you bring up several points. One is, first of all, let's just look at the scenario that you described and ask yourself if it's realistic. Any secondary teacher, I was a social studies teacher, a government teacher, and a history teacher. I taught sociology, and I had my hands full just fulfilling the standards that I had to cover. It was impossible for me to address teaching a child with a third grade reading ability enough language so that I could explain the concepts involved in a government class. The whole reason we have grade levels, the whole reason we have standards, is to assure that when a child arrives at a certain level, that they have the skill level capable of fulfilling the requirements of that grade level. But what exacerbates this problem is that if the teacher tries to teach this child, and let's say subsidizes it by saying, okay, come in at lunch, come in after school, you might be able to bring up the remediation, increase the student's comprehension or ability to do math, but you're not going to be able to do both the remediation and teach a substantive course that is years beyond. But what is the district's response to this? The district's response is that you will be put under tremendous pressure by your principal to pass a student in a class that the student has absolutely no level or ability in. When I taught at Mark Twain Middle School, I had 5 students in my class that announced, we're not going to do any work, nor are we going to allow anybody else in this class to do any work. And my principal, Leslie Caballero, who had been sent to this school because she had already destroyed Hamilton High School with some of the things that she had done, told me that she would not sign my transfer out of the school unless I gave these students passing grades. This brings out a policy, whether stated, but an actual policy, that teachers will be brought under tremendous pressure for not giving a passing grade to a student.
How does ADA factor into this?
Well, ADA factors into it because the principal is saying that if the kid doesn't get a passing grade, the kid's going to lose interest, the parents are going to lose interest. The students in a system like this actually believe, because no matter what happens, they're getting passing grades, that getting a high school diploma means just attending school and just copying enough stuff out of a book, whether they understand it or not. And the administration of LAUSD does nothing to dissuade them of this and intimidates teachers into going along with this and moving these kids from grade to grade. So you're in a situation where not only the students that are way behind are being cheated out of an education, but the students that are in class and prepared to do the work are not able to do the work because of behavior problems that are going on with students that have been socially promoted.
How do the events that we've read recently reported from Miramonte play into this?
Well, what's even worse is at the present time, the students might be ignorant in terms of subject matter, but they're not stupid. They're very streetwise. And what they pick up on in terms of the dynamic and the bullying, a lot of which students are learning from watching the way administrators treat teachers, that they know that the teachers are under tremendous amounts of pressure. And now with Miramonte, they can go up to a teacher, and I am getting lots of reports like this, not one, but many, where students walk up to teachers and say, either you stop bothering me about listening to my electronic devices or trying to get me to do work, or I'm going to tell the administration that you touched me in an inappropriate manner, that you raised your voice, that you made racist comments. So what we have is, instead of establishing an environment where education, it's conducive to education taking place, you have the administrator and the student and the parents intimidating the teacher into not doing the job. Most people are not heroes. You need to have an educational system where not the great teacher survives, but where the average teacher is allowed to do their jobs. I remember one teacher I worked with said to me, I've got a mortgage to pay, I've got aged parents I've got to take care of, I've got to do these students' work for them because I cannot incur the wrath of my principal. Okay?
Thank you very much, Lenny. And on behalf of Lenny and myself, I would like to thank all the viewers for watching this video. Please feel free to comment back to us at predaily.com or directly to Lenny at lenny@predaily.com. Thank you.